eli5, can you catch up on sleep? Sleep cycles were never my forte, but I'll give it a go, aka someone correct me if I'm wrong, please. In order to get a full night's rest that actually leaves you rested, you have to go through the sleep REM cycle a couple of times, uninterrupted. Well, unless it's between a fully complete cycle and another one. But you still need a couple more after that to get that rested feeling. Important note, I'm talking about the average person. It's a bit different for those with sleep disorders, addiction to stimulates, either latter does need to catch up on sleep. You can build up a sleep deficit that will take years to catch up on. Your body is really good at tracking light exposure and time, and it never really forgets. So if you have years of working nights, it could take years of the correct exposure to light and darkness at the times when your brain is expecting it, for the amount of time that your brain is expecting it to catch up on your sleep deficit. You can't fool your brain by sleeping 4 hours sometimes and then oversleeping sometimes. This is guaranteed to make your brain upset. At least in my university psychology classes from a reputable top 50 university, we were taught that you can actually catch up on sleep for the most part. My professor said that the reason it often doesn't work out in practice is that people simply don't sleep enough during their recovery periods. If you need 7.5 hours per day, for example, and only get 5 hours on weekdays, for example, you would need nearly 14 hours per weekend day to make it up, and typical sleeping in might just be 9 hours, so you'd still be in sleep debt. Yes, you can catch up, but not exactly how to define it. People sleep more after deprivation, spend more of their sleep time in REM, etc. a lot, but not all. Cognitive, fatigue, etc. deficits are improved from that 13 hours a night in your scenario, but it's still far better to get a sufficient number of hours of sleep every night. It's pretty difficult to quantify all this stuff since studies do not exist to address all the different permutations of factors, but that's a rough distillation of it. You can never catch on sleep since it affects you when awake, plus recovery, learning, etc. There is no reverting back time. For example, if you sleep 4-4-13 but before the first night hit the gym or study hard 2 days in a row, it will be detrimental to whatever you are trying to achieve. No amount of catching up will work except to rest for future endeavor. As an over-the-road truck driver, I used to go long periods without proper restful sleep. Then I would come home and sleep a whole day away. We used to refer to it as a sleep deficit. Honestly, I never felt sleeping the extra hours made up for the sleep lost. Not sleeping properly does something to your body. I have listened to hours-long podcasts with a sleep expert that is saying that you can't catch up because lack of sleep causes permanent damage. You might be able to clear short-term symptoms, but the damage you have done, especially to your brain, is irreversible. I used to work a job that was 12 hours days, 6 nights. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Next weekdays. Following week switch. Next week switch. And so on. The general consensus was that you can't save up sleep, but you can make it up pretty fast. Purely anecdotal. I heard you can recover sleep, but you can't bank it. If you only had 3 hours one night, get 10 the next night and you will feel okay. But if you have 10 hours and 3, you're still gonna feel like shit cause they don't bank up and store. If you starve yourself for 2 days then binge eat, have you caught up? It's the same with sleep. You slowly repair the damage you caused by sleep deprivation, but it's not simply by sleeping extra, as your body needs to do things in doses. Not sleeping enough hurts your brain. Sleeping more heals your brain, but slower than not sleeping hurts it. You need lots of more sleep to make up for a little not enough sleep. An old psychiatrist of mine explained that you can only catch up on 15 minutes of sleep per night. So it takes a while. If you accumulate enough sleep debt, it can set you up for a vicious cycle. But I've heard not getting enough sleep creates sleep debt that has to be paid back. I would consider a nap. I'd say that one never truly catches up on sleep, however, their body does slowly recuperate from the sleep loss. If that makes a difference. No, there's no catching up on sleep. You just have to go back to sleep like normal and your body will slowly recover from the sleep loss.